Hey guys, it's Kelsey at Mellowstate. I am a full-time reseller who sells on platforms such as Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and whatnot. And today, this whole entire video is actually going to be about Whatnot. And if you don't know what Whatnot is, it is a live auction platform where users like you or me can buy and sell collectibles, clothing, shoes. I mean, seriously, you can find anything on that app. The difference between Whatnot and your typical marketplace like eBay is that it's a live auction platform, which means the prices can fluctuate pretty quickly. Something can start at $1 and get up to $20 in less than 30 seconds. So it's a super fun and engaging platform for both the buyers and the sellers. This video is not sponsored in any way, but if you want to try the Whatnot app out, whether you want to sell on it or you want to purchase on it, I do have a referral link down in the description box. If you sign up to purchase on Whatnot through that link, you can get $15 for free on your first purchase. Like you can get that taken off your first purchase. And then if you want to sign up to start selling on Whatnot, there is also a referral link to become a seller. You do have to apply and be approved to sell on this platform. So I started selling on Whatnot in 2023. So if you've ever seen one of my shows before, just know that it has been a long time coming. A long time. It takes a lot of work to grow a platform over there. But I wanted to give you some of my best tips I have for you if you are trying to get your Whatnot platform off the ground because it is definitely difficult to do. The first tip I have is to preload your items. I'm telling you guys, when I am going and shopping or sourcing on Whatnot for my reselling business or even for myself, I stick in shows longer if the seller has a preloaded show, especially if they are a smaller seller with only a few people in the chat, because it makes it so much easier for me to shop. All I have to do is request number 3, 5, 8, and 10. And then the seller runs them off really quickly and I'm out of the show and I've bought 6 items in literally 10 minutes. I know it takes added time to take pictures of everything and upload everything, but Whatnot does have a CSV file that you can download and bulk upload everything other than pictures, and it makes it super easy. That's what I used to use when I preloaded everything. I used the CSV file and I highly recommend it. So I'm going to show you how to preload items into your show. It's much easier on a computer, but if you have a mobile device, you can do it on your mobile device as well. And I'm showing you how to do it without using that CSV file. So you'll go into your show screen, you'll click the show that you want to add some pictures to, add some different items, and you're going to press the shop button, which will bring you into this screen, which is the live listings. There's a buy now tab, there's a giveaway tab, and you'll press the little plus button in the bottom right corner and you'll press create temporary listing. You can create a quality listing, but temporary listing is just a whole lot easier, which will bring you to this screen. And this is essentially, if you sell on any other platform, this is essentially exactly like that. There's a bunch of different drop downs and it requires you to fill them in. I mean, it really is super easy. You can't press the add listing button until you fill out all the requirements. Which brings us to the next topic, which is shipping. There are so many different ways to do shipping, and I have tons of people in my chat, in my comments, asking how I do shipping, which is what is actually being shown on the screen. I am shipping a Whatnot show out. So there is a shipping profile button that brings all of these different shipping options up. And yes, shipping is always done by weight, you guys, no matter what platform you're on. People, the USPS, the UPS, FedEx, they need to know how much your item weighs and they need to know how big your box is. Now, Whatnot does make it a little bit easier where you don't actually have to put measurements in. There's no field for that, which will save you time, but you do need to know the weight of your items. There is no way around this. You may go into shows where people are just doing random pulls and they aren't changing the weight and they are basically I'm assuming taking the average weight of most of their items and just hoping that it averages out to be what it needs to be. Like, let's say they run a super light 4 to 7 ounce item, and then they run a 1 pound item, and they just have their shipping set to 8 and 11 ounces, hoping that it evens out in the end, which I don't recommend doing. It does make the shows go faster, but you will probably be paying shipping costs that weren't covered during the show. Obviously, if you are preloading items, which, like I said, I recommend doing, you will put the shipping, the weight of your item in for each item. But once you get an audience, you can do random pools, which is what I actually ended up doing. So once I had an audience, I realized the time I was taking to preload items, I don't know if it was exactly worth it for me anymore. However, I have not done preloaded shows in a very long time, so it might actually be worth it. I just haven't tested that theory out. So for my shows, in case you're wondering how I do my shipping, is if you've ever seen one of my shows before, I pull up different listings that are titled by the weight of the item. So I have an extra light, which is a 4 to 7 ounce shipping category. I have a light category, which is an 8 to 11 ounce shipping category. I have a medium, which is a 12 to 15 ounce shipping category. I have a heavy, which is 1 to 2, and then I have an extra heavy, which is 2 to 3 pounds. So instead of pre-weighing every single one of my items and preloading it, because I do have a pretty substantial following, I do random pools and I weigh the item right before I run the item live on auction, which saves me time. And, like I said, I don't really know if not preloading items hurts me. It very well could. But I just have so much inventory going in and out that doing random pools has been the easiest thing for me to handle at this time. So that is tip number one. I kind of went all over the place there, so sorry about that. But tip number one, preload your inventory. It's so important. And another note is that let's say you preloaded 50 items and you took all that time to upload photos and you went live and you only sold 10 items out of your 50. Don't get discouraged because Whatnot actually has a feature on the desktop where you can go into your, let me see, I think it's inventory. Okay, so it looks like there's two ways to do it. Sorry, I was pulling it up on my screen. So how I do it is I go into shows. There is a shows tab, which will pull up all your previous shows. And then there's a button right under that that says clone items to another show. And I click that. And then all I do is pick the show I want my unsold items to be cloned to. And then Whatnot simply puts them into a new show, which saves tons of time. I don't have to create new listings every time, and neither will you. Once your items are uploaded into your inventory, if they don't sell, you can always just clone them. Okay, so another question I get asked all the time is how do I know who buys what in my Whatnot show? And you guys, I'm just sharing my story with you, how I do things. This is not to say there are not hundreds of other ways to do this. I mean, there are seriously so many different ways to run and operate your Whatnot platform. This is just how I do it at this moment in time. So I used to use the hanger method or the number system, you can call it. A lot of people call it that when I first started. And now I do not use that anymore. I use what I call the box system. You can even say it's a pile system where I just make piles of items based on my buyers. So let's say Susie Joe buys 10 things from me. Those 10 items that Susie Joe buys, I will put in a pile with a little sticky note with Susie Joe's names on them. And at the end of the show, I will get a shipping label with her username on it. And I will know, okay, this shipping label says Susie Joe on it, which means I need to pull Susie Joe's pile. And there is a more in-depth invoice that you get on Whatnot. It's a shipping label and you get your invoice, or I think they call it like a packing slip. You can also print that out and have that with your shipping label to know, let's say if you do decide to use a number system, which essentially what that means is you have a number that is correlated to an item. So if you sold random pool number one, then that would go to the number one that you have hanging on your rack, or that you have a number one sticker on the item. There's so many different ways to do it. Hopefully, I'm not overwhelming you, but you would just use that invoice to pull the numbers based on the buyer. Whatnot gives you so much good information, by the way. There are so many videos on their website, but they make it easy for you. Like just as easy as Poshmark and eBay, you get an invoice, you see who the seller is, you see their address, you see how many items they bought from you, and then you just pull the items. Of course, you have to have some type of identification system. Like if I was just doing random pulls, heavy, medium, light, and then just taking all the items that have sold and throwing them into one big pile, it would take me hours and hours to ship, because then I would have to go back and rewatch the video of my sales to see who actually bought things. So yes, you do have to be organized in a sense, but you don't have to preload everything once you get the hang of it. Hopefully, I'm not overwhelming you guys. I know there's so much information, and if you want a video on each specific question, like let's say you want a video on shipping for whatnot, let me know down in the comments, because I can of course break it up even more than I'm doing right now. I'm really giving you an overview of like how the platform works, while also kind of telling you how I use the platform. And it's even me explaining it, I'm like, wow, I'm overwhelmed right now. So let me know in the comments what you want to see. I mean, I can do videos on tips to start, I can do shipping, I can do how I decide what goes on whatnot versus what goes on Poshmark and eBay, because I get that question so many times. Oh my goodness. And again, while listening to this, remember that this is my business. I run my business how I want. That does not necessarily mean that you should be running your business how I run my business. We are in very different scenarios, living in very different areas with very different platforms and audiences. So just keep that in mind. You will always do better when you find something that works for you rather than trying to copy somebody else. The next tip I have for you is to promote the heck out of your show. Nobody else is going to promote it as much as you're going to promote it. So that includes having a good screen card or show card, which is really appealing to the eye and gets people's attention. Like if you're going to have Lilly Pulitzer, if you're going to have Nike, if you're going to have Ariat, all those really loud brands that people love to see, make sure you create a good show card that displays what you're having. That seriously can change the outcome of your show. Be sure to pre-upload your show weeks in advance so that people can bookmark it. If you don't know what bookmarks is, it's basically a little tool that Whatnot has made so that when you go live, people who have bookmarked your show will get notified you're going live so they don't miss your show. So definitely upload your show weeks in advance, preload those items weeks in advance, and don't stop talking about your shows. Self-promote everywhere you can. Go into people's Whatnot show and ask if it's okay if you promote your own show. When you do promotions, don't just say, I have a show on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Talk about the brands you have, talk about the starting prices, and talk about the sizes you have, also including the date, of course, that you're going to be running your show. Whatnot is a huge investment platform. And since I started, it has actually become my number one selling platform as a full-time reseller. So it's definitely worth it. It's okay if you run a show and you don't make any money your first show. What you want to do is gain trust and traction and followers. So I'm going to end this video here, but be sure to leave a comment about what other topics you want to see videos on, and I will gladly make them for you. Smooches.